Hey Scrappers, it's Vanessa here with my video for the interview, a Scrapbooker Tag. So basically it's a group of us here on YouTube that create videos, and what we did is we paired up, and so somebody would send you 5 questions and we're going to answer those questions in our videos, as well as a few other ones that everyone's going to answer. So everybody's questions that they get from whoever they were paired up with will be different, and so you're going to get to know all of us scrapbookers through the questions that are whoever we were linked with sent us. So there'll be all kinds of different information from everyone, I am sure, as you kind of hop through. I'll have in the description box below all of the people playing along so that you can go ahead and hop through and see what questions everyone was asking and learn just a little bit about those of us who are on here on YouTube and who put out our scrapbooking videos, and hopefully give everyone some inspiration. So what I'm going to do is, I am not doing, as you can tell, a face-to-face. The way I scrapbook, or the way I do my videos, I am connecting through my webcam, which is connected to my computer, and so I don't have the most ideal setup, at least not right now, the way I have my camera and things positioned in a way that makes it easy to do face-to-face. So that's just a quick synopsis to say why I'm not doing a face-to-face. I don't have any reason to not do one. It's just in this case for me, filming wise, without having to just change and completely tear down what I have set up to do my regular scrapbook processes, just is a lot of work that I just did not have time prior to doing this video to try to figure out the best way to do that. So you're going to see my hands, but I have some layouts because I'm going to use them as we talk and things like that. So at least I have something pretty to look at, because, you know, I do use my hands, so my hands will move. I'm trying to not hit anything so that my camera does a whole bunch of crazy moving or trying to adjust. So fingers crossed, because I do talk with my hands. This video will probably be a little bit long because I talk. So get some coffee, because as you're hopping along, you know, you're going to see a lot of people talking today for sure with this tag. So like I said, I'm not doing a face-to-face, but I do have some pretty things. So I'm going to start with the questions, and there are 3 questions that everyone is answering, and then I'll go into the questions that who I was partnered up with, or who was partnered to send me questions, I guess I should say. I'll go through what questions she sent me. So the first question is to introduce yourself and how long you've been scrapbooking and how long you've had your channel, as well as any other personal things that we should know. Okay, so obviously my name is Vanessa Bell. I kept it really simple. My YouTube channel is my name. I actually had when I started, I'm sharing my process videos, right? So I didn't, you know, is never going to be like a business, so I didn't, you know, create any crazy, you know, special names for my channel. I basically am just using my name, so that's it. And pretty much I think everywhere that I share, my username is Vanessa Bell. I think even my Instagram, I think it's Vanessa77 on my Instagram, but I don't think I have another name that I use for other things online, which is often Capril, which is, I know, sounds odd, but the other thing I do in my spare time, and something that my husband and I do together, is we play online games. And so the games that we play are they're called massive multiplayer online games. And so if anyone's a gamer, you would know Elder Scrolls is the one we're playing right now. And so my character name in that game is Capril. So sometimes I will, in certain platforms, have Capril, but I think everything for my scrapbooking is pretty much usually under Vanessa Bell. So yeah, fun fact, I also am a gamer. So I don't know if that's exciting information for anyone, but I am a gamer. Let's see. I have had my YouTube channel, I started it, so I guess I'm on 4 years that I've been on YouTube. I started back in January of 2018. And then, so basically I've been posting since January of 2018. However, I have been scrapbooking, for more than 15 years, but I've always, even before I was actually putting, paper and pictures in scrapbooks, I was always sort of a crafter, or I just was always a lover of all things paper crafting related. I loved stickers. I loved pretty paper. I used to love to go to stationery stores, even before I was really creating scrapbook pages. And so, yeah, I have always been a lover of paper. And so scrapbooking was just the perfect way to combine my love of playing with pretty papers and pretty stickers and embellishments and putting it all together, because I love photos. So the two kind of go hand in hand, of course. So yeah, I've been, probably since I was definitely, even in my teens, I had not like a true scrapbook, but I definitely collected papers, and I've always been a fussy cutter, which you'll see as I show you some of the layouts. And so it just kind of progressed from there. And then I really got into the scrapbooking thing the most when I had my daughter, is really when it started. Even when my husband and I were dating, I was doing a little bit of sort of actual, what you could consider scrapbooking, but it definitely was, I definitely moved into it a lot more when I had my daughter, because obviously I was taking lots of baby fit pictures and scrapbooking them. So let's see, any other personal things. So I already said I was a gamer. I work in computers, which probably has a lot to do with why I'm very geek sort of centric, in the fact that I work in computers. So I'm a programmer slash data analyst slash database administrator. So I work in computers all day long. I work a normal, I'm unfortunately, as much as I wish I was, I'm not a stay-at-home mom. I work a full-time job. I actually work for our school district in our district office. So I work on the IT side of that. So I work full-time out of the house. And so scrapbooking is sort of my stress reliever, my relaxation. My kids know that, especially, we spend, a little bit of time together in the evenings, but they know that once we've kind of all gone off to do our own thing in the evenings, they know where to find me. I'm always in my scrap room. So yeah, so I do work in computers. I am a Star Wars fan, a Star Trek fan, so sci-fi, love it, and a huge Disney fan. As if you've been watching my videos for any length of time, you know that my family and we go to Disney every year. And so, yeah, huge Disney fan. So, needless to say, those are just a few facts I have. Like, if you've watched any of my videos, you know I have 2 kids. I have 2 cats and a dog, so full house for sure. That's it. I mean, if there's anything else you ever want to know, you can always ask me. I don't share a whole lot. I mean, I share the pictures and things like that, but if there's any burning questions that you have, be sure to put them in the description box below. But I'm not that, I don't consider myself to be that personally all that interesting, but okay, second question. What are my 2021 scrapbooking YouTube goals? So goals. I would love to, on my YouTube channel, hit 2,000 subscribers. 2,500 would be, amazing. I mean, honestly speaking, I really started my YouTube channel just as a way of, sharing my love of scrapbooking, and it was, something fun that, I could do because I basically scrapbook by myself. And so it was kind of like, oh, I can kind of get involved in this community and like feel like I'm not just necessarily scrapbooking alone. I can kind of talk to the camera and it's like I'm talking to somebody. So, that's why I started my channel. I had never, I don't have any intention of having my channel be, I would love to scrap full time. If somebody would want to pay me to do that, would be great. But yeah, it's never been my intention to have this be my career or anything, as much as that would be amazing. It's not feasible, and so yeah, I scrapbook and I share my videos in hopes that it inspires somebody. So the fact that I even have one subscriber is amazing, and so the thought of hitting 2,000 is kind of blows my mind just a little bit, because honestly speaking, I never thought anyone would watch one of my videos, let alone, I probably have a couple hundred on my channel, so the fact that anyone watches them, I'm always amazed. Especially because when I look at like some of the other scrapbookers and some of the ladies, especially some of the ladies in this hop and some of the other people that I'm on my Redefine Creative Design team, they're amazingly talented, and I don't know that I necessarily always feel like I am at the same caliber as some of them, for sure. So if I can inspire anyone, then that's basically what the goal of my channel is. If I can even, offer any sort of insight or, offer any sort of inspiration, that's really always been my goal. And I'm very big on using my stash. I have a ton of supplies. I'm not gonna lie, my room is like huge, exploding. I have tons of supplies. Not gonna lie. So I'm all about I combine older and newer, and yeah, I buy the new collections. Do I use them right away? No, because I often hoard them and end up using older stash. But I love my older stash as much as I love my newer. So I go back and forth, and I don't scrapbook just one designer either. So, or like one collection. I typically mix my stuff together. So even if I bring something new in, it sometimes just gets mixed into whatever I'm working in, because I don't stick with just the one collection typically. So yeah, so goals, I would say maybe, if I could hit 2,000, 2,500 would be amazing. I did mention that I was on the Redefine Creative Design team, which was, I kind of, I filled out the thing and I was like, okay, I'm gonna, I've applied for a couple of design teams, but like I said, I'm like, there's so many amazingly talented people that I'm like, I don't go, oh, I'm definitely gonna make that design team. I mean, I've applied for a couple here and there, but so I've gotten on the design team for Redefine Creative, and I'm honored. Christina is awesome, and I'm having so much fun, and the team is amazing, and so that was definitely, I guess it kind of became a goal for this year. Like, that was kind of awesome. I think at the most, from a design team perspective, I would love to get on one other design team, because that would be kind of fun. I don't think I would do more than 2 design teams ever at a time, and I say that simply because for me, like I said, I work full-time, I have kids, I have a family. If I'm going to ever take more pictures, I have to spend some time with them in order to take pictures to scrapbook. So for me, I definitely would say I don't have like aspirations to be on like 10 different design teams or anything like that, just simply because I want to be able to do a good job for the design teams that I'm on. So for me, the max I would ever do is 2. So if I got on another one, that would be awesome. And, maybe I'll apply for another one. We'll see how it goes. But needless to say, right now, I'm pretty happy. I am on my way to that 2,000. So like I said, that's probably my biggest goal. And other than that, it's really just to offer inspiration. So hopefully you find some on my channel. And wow, I am talking a lot. This video is going to be forever, so I apologize in advance because I'm only on question 3. So the third question that we are all answering is to share some of our favorite layouts or projects. And so that's what this stack is for, and so that you have something else to look at. So what I thought I would do, because I'm going to probably use some of these to kind of reference some of the questions that my partner who sent me the questions to answer for this video, I'm probably going to use some of these to highlight the answers for those. So I'm going to quickly go through these layouts, and then we'll hop into the questions, and then you'll see them come back as we answer those. So this first one, these are all relatively speaking newer layouts, at least from toward late last year and into this year. I kind of just pulled from the top stack, which here's a dirty little secret in my craft room of layouts. If you saw, I have a towering stack of layouts. I mean, it's huge, and they're not in albums. I've just been stacking them up on top of each other. I need to spend like a couple hours putting layouts into some albums because they're literally taking over my room, no lie. So yeah, dirty little secret there. Yeah, I should really take a photo of it because it's towering, like it's like falling over on top of other things. It's bad, people. So anyway, first layout, this one was for just a girl who loves hop, and so I was of course documenting my love of coffee. So that's another fun fact about me. Love my coffee, love Disney, love coffee, love books. Pretty happy girl with any combination of those things. So this was one of my favorite layouts. This one has lots of, this has scrap and happy flair, which I love that as well. It has some puffy stickers, always a favorite, as well as some printables, which you'll see a theme of those and my love for those as we go through these layouts. So there's that one. If you have questions about any of these layouts, I think all of them actually have a process video, but if you have questions, always leave me a comment and I will absolutely answer you. So I have this one here, which shows my love of stamping because I've done some stamping in the background. I have a little bit of mixed media and then some punched little hearts on this one. Again, some more printables. And so, cute picture of my son, and of course he's on the carousel at Disney, so again, my love of Disney is coming in. So another thing that I definitely love is to mat my layouts on a piece of cardstock. You will see this is definitely a running theme with all of my pages, and you will also see that in all of these, except for I think one that I pulled to show, I am using white cardstock, which I would never have guessed that I was a huge white cardstock person, but apparently, without realizing it, I use it all the time. And I use very little full 12 by 12 backgrounds for pattern paper. So, yeah, fun fact. Here is, in fact, the one layout that I have that is a pattern paper background that I pulled to show, and this one is awesome. I love it. I love it very much. It has fussy cutting, which if you've been watching my videos for any length of time, you know that I love to fussy cut. Not only does it have fussy cutting, but it has cut files, it has stamping, it has Mickey heads, because this is a photo from Downtown Disney, or Disney Springs as they call it now. It also has some printables, and let's see, I did the stamping. It has a little bit of splatters in the background, so a little tiny bit of mixed media, which is what I generally go for, the easy or the lazy mixed media. And yeah, love everything about this layout. So this is definitely some of my favorite things for sure. I love the printables. So that is one of my favorites. That was one of the recents. let's see, I have this one, which was from last month for Christmas in February, I believe. And so I am again using printables and lots of fussy cutting. I have lots of sort of just a mixed media background with some stamping here in the background. So all of my favorite things. I actually used a piece of pattern paper to mat my whole layout on for this one. And yeah, again, documenting my love of coffee because, well, you know, I'm a girl who loves her coffee. But yep, love this one too. This one here is again highlighting my white paper background. In this case, I did a whole bunch of stamping with a viewfinder stamp, and I also colored this washi tape with some alcohol marker, alcohol ink, I guess you could say, to use for my background. And I love this one not only for the sort of mixed media kind of fun background that I created, but because of I actually really love the colors of this one as well. I never wear yellow. I'm actually not a huge fan of yellow, but I like it on scrapbooking pages. Figure that one out. And I love this color, this teal color. I love those colors. One of my favorites. Blue is my favorite color, but this sort of, like in this color here, like big fan of that teal. This one here highlights my other favorite things of, not only do I love my cut files, but I love my sequins, and this one was a great way to highlight lots of sequins. Love it. Plus, how could you not resist that super cute little penguin? How cute is he? I don't know if he was supposed to be a penguin, but I made him a penguin. He's some little critter, but I went with penguin because he's adorable. So yeah, super cute. Love the sequins for sure. So that was a fun one. This one here was pretty recent. This was for the telephone hop that we had. Again, I'm playing with fussy cut floral. Some of these were actual die cuts, but some were fussy cut from pattern papers, from a Citrus Twist pattern paper. I've got some stamping both in the background, and for some of my embellishments, I stamped my part of my title. So yeah, you can see a running theme. Love fussy cutting, love printables or digital things that I can then print and fussy cut or have my silhouette cut it, as well as stamping. And like I said, white cardstock apparently is becoming my thing for sure. So again, all of my favorite things. Next one is a Disney layout. So we've got that sort of mixed media, easy mixed media I call it, in the background. All of these florals are printables, so I'm loving that. I've gotten into, or I've purchased a few acrylics here and there, so it's fun to pull those out. They add some nice dimension. Plus wood veneer. I stopped using wood veneer for a long time, but I've gotten back into using it, and I like it. I like it very much. This one again, stamping. So like I said, running theme, stamping, printables, all that good stuff. This one here is a really fun one. My other favorite things, stencils in my background. This one does not have stamping, but it does have rainbow, which, yeah, you can't resist the rainbow for sure. And these are all Tracy Reed printables from one of her collections, all of these. So yeah, the cameras are from they are digital prints from an Etsy seller. If you want, I will try to remember to link it down below, but if you want to know who it is, shoot me a comment and I will give you the link to her shop. Yeah, so love that rainbow, and it's Disney, so you can't get any better than that. And then last, this is probably one of my most favorite layouts that I've created in a while, and I created this last month for the All About the Mouse hop that happens on the 1st of every month, and this was using a stencil from Scrapping Reflections, State Goddess, Sandy, here on YouTube. her store. She has this Mickey head stencil, and I did a rainbow with some Distress Oxide ink, and I love it. I love everything about it. It's rainbow, it's Disney, there's printables, there's a Mickey head in a rainbow. Love everything about this layout. So this was, of course, the last one I was going to show because, yeah, it's beautiful. And who can resist a rainbow? And a rainbow of Mickey heads. It doesn't get any better. So with that, those are just a few of my favorite layouts. I typically try to only create layouts that I really like and that I would show. Every once in a while there's ones that come that aren't necessarily my favorites, but I try, if I don't like my layout, I don't typically show it. Or I won't show the video if I've actually filmed it. I'm one of those people that I have to work at the layout until it's something that I actually somewhat like, because I'm like, if it's gonna go in my album, I want to like it. So, I don't necessarily redo my layouts, but if it's really not working, then I definitely would tear it apart. But so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hop into the questions that my partner sent me, or Kelsey, who is Kelsey May Webster here on YouTube. She was the one who sent me the 5 questions that she wanted me to answer. And so I'm going to go ahead and answer her questions because I don't even know how long this video is, but it is probably super long. So I'm going to try to go fast. Let's see if that happens. The first one is, you do beautiful mixed media and stamping. How do you decide what colors to use and placement? What is your go-to product for mixed media? Okay, so funny thing, I had these questions and, would have been good had I, pulled things or thought about how I was going to answer most of them before I started filming. I did not. So basically this is me talking with not really writing anything down. So that might be why this is going to take a while. Fun fact. So to answer this one, let's see. You do beautiful stuff. What is my go-to product for mixed media? I'm going to say right now, my current obsession would have to be Distress Oxide ink. I love it because, like I said, I am a lazy mixed media person. So this is great because I can use this and I can mix it with water and use it like as a watercolor. I can stamp with it. I can smush it on plastic and do the smushing technique on my backgrounds. I can put it through a stencil like this, and then I can put water on it and have it do that sort of oxided technique. Yeah, love this stuff. It's awesome. Right in front of me, the other things I have are my shimmers products. I use these quite a bit, mostly for splatters, but I do pull them out and use it to color cut files or even just some of my backgrounds and things like that. So those are probably my 2 current favorites, but you name it from a mixed media standpoint and I probably have it. Yeah, I have just about everything. I have texture paste in all different kinds and forms. I have watercolors. I have the Vicky Bouton crayons. I have gelatos. I have, yeah, like I said, I have pretty much everything. So if there's ever something you want to see, let me know, because I likely have it. But those are the ones that I sort of have, like if you could see my desk like here in front of me, I have most of my most used Distress Oxides here, and then sort of here and behind those even, I have a whole bin of my sort of shimmers products and some other like Heidi Swap and things like that, as well as I have my Catherine Pooler inks. I have inks here and inks over that way I have lots of Catherine Pooler inks. I have Stampin' Up! Because I started with those, and then now I'm obsessed with Catherine Pooler, which I have to blame Sarah Scraps for, because I love Catherine Pooler ink. And so those are probably the ones that I use the most from a mixed media. So let's see, how do I decide what colors to use? And placement. Placement, I don't typically use sketches or anything to determine what my layout's going to look like. I generally sit down and just kind of go. So from a placement standpoint, like for this one here, I just did it all over the page. Whereas this one here, again, I wasn't using any sort of, at least I don't think this was for any. I think I had just sat down and created. I don't think this was following a sketch. There's been some, because I've been playing along with some of the classes, like She's Crafty and things like that, where it was actually, there was a sketch we built off of. But so one like this, again, I just went everywhere. So I don't really think about it. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I don't typically, like this one here, I wasn't following a sketch, but when I started the page, I did the tearing first, and then I decided on the fact that I wanted a sort of more vertical sort of placement with my photo, but then I wanted to have my embellishments be diagonal. So that in turn led me to do my stamping on a diagonal. And if I had have opted to go with mixed media, that's what would have prompted me to do my sort of mixed media. So I guess from a placement standpoint of where I would put my mixed media, what I would say is a lot of times, especially if I'm not using a sketch and something that sort of dictates where I would put my mixed media, what I would say I would do is I will typically design or lay out everything on my page, not maybe everything, but a good portion, and once I know how I want it to kind of look, then I kind of either I'll mark on my page just lightly, or I'll just remember and put everything off to the side and then pull out my mixed media. And based on the fact that I already had placed things where I knew I wanted them to go in the ultimate finished layout, I then would do my mixed media in whatever spaces that I had open. That's generally probably how I would say I would do it. But then, like you saw, sometimes I just kind of will put it down. And if I have to come back and add a little bit more, I do. So I'm a lazy mixed media person, so I don't typically gesso my papers either. So I'll just put it down, because I know that when you're doing mixed media, most of it's going to get covered up, right? Like if I'm doing a layout like this, my mixed media, you're only going to see a little bit here and here. For example, on this page, you're not going to see if I was doing a ton. Like here, I have mixed media in the background, and there's some behind here, but this all got covered up. Like with this one, I just knew I wanted to put some color on the white paper, so I just did some mixed media packaging technique sort of all in the background, because I knew 90% of it's getting covered up, right? So I have just a little bit that peeks out here and here, but the majority I know is going to get covered up. So sometimes I'll just do that. I'll just cover a good portion of my white cardstock with mixed media. I know it's super technical, but yeah, I don't think about it a lot. I kind of just go with it. And if it goes somewhere I don't want it to, that's why they made embellishments, and that's, you just slap something down on top of it. That's generally how I go. Yeah, so like I said, for me, that's placement. That's about the best I can tell you for that one. Color-wise, how do I pick my colors? I let whatever I have started for my page, because like I said, when I start, I generally will have papers of some sort picked out. So I'll just take my cue from whatever papers that I've pulled and try to go and take I've stamped out sort of all my distress oxides, or I'll just like look at the bottle of one of my shimmers and kind of say, does this color match? And that's really what I do. I really take my color choices for what I'm going to use for my mixed media from whatever pattern papers that I pulled. Like in this case, I could have gone with any of these colors to do my splatters. Now, I wanted something to be not so in your face, so I went with the Speckled Egg Distress Oxide, and that's what these little splatters that were going on this page. But I just basically will look at something like this, and technically speaking, I could have gone with any of these colors. I just kind of go with, do I want it to be something that's light, that is subtle in my background, or do I want to go darker? Because if I'd gone with the darker, it would have made it stand out even more. It just depends on the feel that I'm going for in the particular layout that I'm creating at the time. So let's see, second question. What products do you get most excited to work with? Is there a color combo or designer's style that gets you excited to create with it? Products that get me most excited to work with. I'm definitely going to say florals. I think if you've looked at, probably other than this one, the majority of my layouts, I love florals. I don't think you can go wrong. Even like boy, girl photos, I don't really care. I love a good floral. So I definitely think that florals get me excited to work with them, as well as printables. And I have gotten very into printables. I have them from Nicole Jones. I have them from Tracy Reed. I like a lot of Tracy Reed's collections. But I also go to AC Digitals and do the Maggie Holmes collections. I don't necessarily now buy a ton of even the American Craft collections that come out by all the different designers. A lot of times now I tend to wait and just get them as digital, because then I print them and I can resize the ephemera pieces smaller if I want them to, and I either have my silhouette or I fussy cut them. I love to fussy cut, so I'll sit in front of TV or watching YouTube videos and just fussy cut all the elements for pages. And so I think printables and florals are some of the things that really get me the most excited to work with them. One company that maybe they have printables, but not of most of their collections, I don't think, is Cocoa Vanilla. So I definitely will say if I'm going to buy a collection, it's probably going to be Cocoa Vanilla. Their papers are beautiful. I have been known to hoard them, and I've done that with several of their collections because I love them so much, and they do amazing florals in their collections, and so they definitely get me excited to create, and I have to actually make myself create with their papers because it's so bad because I hoard them because they're so pretty. But I really need to pull them out and use them because that really would, make them shine if I did that. So I guess that Cocoa Vanilla would be, if I was going to pick a company that makes me excited to create with, Cocoa Vanilla. I've loved all of their collections. I only recently started getting into them when they came out with that, was it Happiness collection or something along that line? And then since then I've been kind of obsessed with them. I do love a good Maggie Holmes. Like I said, I'm a floral girl. So I love a good Maggie Holmes. Her collections, I always want them, but like I said, I will buy them digital. So yeah, from a Tracy Reed, from a digital collection standpoint, so all of them. I get inspired by lots of different manufacturers and collections. If it's got a floral or something I can fussy cut, you have me. You have me at any of those sort of elements. Give me a good camera and a floral, and I'm a happy girl. So let me see. Those are probably what I get most excited to work with. A color combo. A color combo. Well, you know what? I probably will say, and it's funny because I pulled all these, and I would say probably my favorite combos to use are like the blues and yellow, or the blues and pinks, as well as this teal color. Any of those, like this color, and like the pinks, those are probably like my favorite colors to use. And so, yeah, if I was going to pick, those would probably be the colors that I have that are my favorites. Any combination of those colors and hues, like darker, lighter. I love a good navy. So, blue is definitely my favorite color, and always at the top of my favorites to use. I tend to use a lot of blue. So, let's see. Question number 3. What got you into scrapbooking, and was there a particular person you learned from or was inspired by? So, I think I answered this kind of at the beginning. I have always loved paper. I would say having my daughter really got me more motivated to actually put the pretty paper and the photos into scrapbooks. And so while I always enjoyed paper, yeah, she definitely started my full-on scrapbooking, I would say, for sure. And is there a particular person that I've learned from or was inspired by? I don't know that I have a specific person. I would say, I love, like I said, Maggie Holmes from a designer standpoint, Coco Vanilla. But for me, who I get inspired by are a lot of the YouTubers, like a lot of people in this hop. I started, obviously before starting my channel, I watched a lot of YouTubers. And I think all of you watching my videos that post your layouts on Facebook or put them on Pinterest or create YouTube videos, you guys are probably my biggest inspiration. There are so many talented scrapbookers, and everybody in their own right has their own style, and there's always something to be inspired by just watching or looking at people's layouts. So I don't really have like one specific person that I would say I'm inspired by. I tend to be more on the eclectic. I like clusters, like that's for sure. But there's not just one style that I like. And so I tend to get inspired by lots of different people, whether they scrapbook just like me or like completely the opposite of me. Like I don't do, as you can tell, I don't do 2-page layouts at all. But like Lisa Brooks, for example, does 2-page layouts and they're stunning. And, like Scrapbook Generations does tons of 2-page layouts. I am not a 2-page person, but their layouts are beautiful. And there's certain elements that I like to use or ideas that I can pull from their layouts. So they are in and of themselves inspiring, even though it's totally the opposite of what I create. So yeah, inspiration would be all of you. Definitely. I think our entire community is inspiring, ultimately. Let's see. Question number 4. If you were able to create your own collection, what would it look like? Color, patterns, motifs, etc. Well, if I haven't said it enough, it would have florals and cameras and puffy stickers because I'm obsessed with them. As well as I think it would have to have a stamp set because I am loving doing stamping, and probably some sort of stencil as well. And it would have to have elements in it that I can fussy cut, because I love to fussy cut, I'm not gonna lie. And so yeah, it would definitely be, I have to have florals, I have to have cameras, puffy stickers, stamps for sure, some sentiment stamps, as well as some maybe florals and some geometrics, so that you have a good eclectic mix to kind of create your own backgrounds and things like that. Some sort of stamp that you can have that would help you create or add some texture to your backgrounds, something you could use to create your backgrounds. So background texture stamps would be awesome. Let's see. Obviously it's going to have white pattern paper and some solid cardstock to back your layouts if you're going to have a layout that's like mine. But yeah, so florals, cameras. I love tickets. I layer up a lot of tickets. Anything you can fussy cut. So I definitely think those would be the elements. Pattern wise, I love good polka dot. I love good floral paper and a stripe with some geometrics. So, you know, basically all the normal things that you'd find in most collections. I'm a big fan. I don't use a ton of pattern paper. It's really funny because I'm looking at my layouts and going, I don't use a ton of pattern paper. I back my photos, but I don't use a ton of pattern paper. Which, here's the thing, I love pattern paper, so I hoard pattern paper, so apparently I just don't use a ton of it lately. But I love pattern paper. It is probably the thing I buy the most of because I can fussy cut a lot of it and use it to create embellishments and things like that, so hence pattern paper is probably my favorite. As for what it would look like, oh, there would probably also be butterflies. Even though most of my layouts that I've pulled don't have butterflies, I do love a good butterfly. Sandy would not like my butterflies, but she'd like my florals probably, and anything Disney, but not the butterflies. But I do love a good butterfly. Funny fact, my name means butterfly. Color-wise, for my collection, I would probably say it's going to have somewhere along the line of this color palette. There's just something I love about the blues and the yellows and the pinks, but I would definitely be throwing in a little bit of that turquoise as well. But I would say those would be sort of like the main colors. Maybe a slightly deeper saturation of these, but yeah, I think those would definitely be the colors that I would gravitate to if I was going to create my own collection. Oh, and definitely hearts. I love a good heart, puffy or not. I love a good heart. I like those. I love stars, but I think hearts would definitely be what I would use first, and so I would definitely include hearts in my collection. So last but not least, my last question is, what advice would you give to someone who is starting to scrapbook? I think I would say to someone who wants to start to scrapbook is, there are no rules. Don't stress yourself out about having to have the latest everything or collecting all of the collections and all of the papers. Find what you like and create layouts that make you happy. Don't try to make your layouts like anyone else. Just have fun. Don't stress about it. Scrapbooking should be fun. It should be a creative process, and so that looks different for everyone. And you know what? If you're starting out, like I said, don't buy everything. Buy a little bit, like buy maybe one collection that you really like, that has a good variety of colors and patterns and, you know, a pack of embellishments, and see what you enjoy creating, and then you'll know future what you should buy. And, you know, keep it simple. Have a paper cutter, have, you know, a couple inks. If you want to go down the road of mixed media, like buy 1 or 2 colors, don't buy all of them. Or buy a watercolor palette, because that'll give you plenty of colors. Start small, see what you like, experiment. Don't be afraid to try stuff out, and if you don't like it, don't use it. But just enjoy it, and yeah, just know that there aren't any rules. Like, you don't have to make your embellishment clusters look like this. Like, I like really full clusters. You might not. You might like, I just want a photo and my title and 1 embellishment cluster. And your embellishment cluster might just be a flower. That is totally fine. There is no rules. I think that's the biggest thing, is don't compare yourself to everyone else and think that what you're creating isn't as good as everybody else's out there, in the fact that, you know, it doesn't have this or that. Because everyone creates differently. Everyone enjoys different things. Like, you might not like wood veneer. Don't use it. So I think that's the biggest thing, is don't compare yourself to everyone else and think that what you're doing isn't as good as what somebody else is creating. I create for me, for my family, whether they keep my scrapbooks when I'm gone or not. It's about, for me, it's a creative outlet. I do journal on my pages, but I don't journal a ton. I will journal on the back of some of them. But for me, it's the creative process. And so if you're a new scrapbooker, you can do it. You can be a huge journaler, and your whole page is like a whole line of journaling. If that's what you want, if that's what scrapbooking is for you, and what makes you happy is getting a whole, you know, telling big stories and things like that, then by all means do that. You know, for me, I know that it's more of a creative process and just my love of playing with pretty papers. And yeah, if I have a story or something I want to tell, whether it goes on the front or the back of a page, is fine with me. I don't hold myself to having to have every page with journaling. Most of them always have a title, but even then, I'm not opposed to having a layout that doesn't do a title. So I think that's my biggest thing of advice, is just create. Just have fun. Like, don't box yourself into a whole bunch of rules, and don't buy so many things that you're overwhelmed. Like, I have been doing this for a long time, so my scrapbook room is full, and I have all the tools and all the everything, but that's because I found something that I really enjoyed, and that's scrapbooking and playing with pretty paper. And so I buy what I like, and I use most of the stuff other than what I've hoarded, but I'm trying to get past the hoarding and more creating than just to hold on to the pretty things. But yeah, don't let yourself get overwhelmed, and just create what you enjoy. So that is it for mine, and I am sure this video is like 40 minutes. So I'm going to say check the description box below for everyone who's participating. Be sure to hop around, check out everyone's answers to these questions. And with that, guys, I will catch you on the next one. Have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.